Alright, so we should be live by now. I hope everything is working fine. If you see that there is a problem, please don't hesitate to let me know in the live chat that you should have on the right side of this video. So, welcome everyone. Thank you for tuning in. It's a great pleasure for me to host this very first poetry reading online. Since it's the first time I'm doing something like this, I hope it will work out fine. Anyway, I would like to start by sending thanks to everyone who sent their contribution, their beautiful poetry. So we had 7 or 8 people sending videos from themselves reading poetry. That was great. And also I wanted to make sure that everybody is on the same track about this event. I'm not going to judge it. I'm not going to judge or state my opinion on the poems I received. The goal of this event is more like to spread poetry and have it spoken out and orally, like it's meant to be. So without further ado, we'll start with the first poem, which unfortunately could not be read by its author. His name is Joydeep. He's from India, and he's currently at the hospital with his father, who's going through some difficulties. So, dear Joydeep, we hope that your father is going to recover pretty soon and be healthy again. And in the meanwhile, I'm going to do as you asked me to and read your poem. So this is Naoko from Joydeep Narayan Deb. I hope I didn't screw up your name. Dear Naoko, every night I served you haikus and ignored your bruises. I thought that was part of your makeup. As I undressed your kimono, you looked like a Japanese sakura. Branches crawling out of hands, fingers turning into twigs, your hair, eyebrows, lips and breasts metamorphosed into flowers, roots wrapping your knees, not letting you leave this place, this marriage or this man. In late March or early April, when sakura blossom, you weep in the kitchen. You sob in the bathtub. You don't smile for weeks. They blossom, you don't. I don't let you blossom. I exploit my bonsai sakura like I exploit you every night in bed. You died out of thirst, just like my tree. And this time, as I undressed your kimono, you looked like my bonsai, which died 3 years ago. So, that was Naoko from Joydeep in India. Thank you very much for this poetry. And coming up next, we have the contribution of Katherine Brownlie, who sent me her poem idling in Laval. So, without further ado, here comes idling in Laval.
Idling in Laval. The cap horn is in prime position, reflected in inflated prices. At a crossroads running parallel with the lugubrious River Mayenne, overlooking Pont Aristide Briand. Whereupon, after its stretch, sits a woman at the PMU, La Royale, idling the time, sipping sour cooling coffee and blowing puffs of smoke out onto the terrace, through crumpled walnut lips, eyes tight and watery, slit through slicked mascara, tunnelling down cracked lines of time told. Her wiry frosted hair, casually gathered upwards, ran through with a fairy wand, set off with a diamante tiara, Sappho loving the sunshine, composing lyrics in her mind over and over, before returning to her grubby apartment. At the next table sits a man tired, sipping beer, slumped, unwashed and unkempt. His eyes are vacant, unreachable. He'll be there all day or so. Time limitless. Conversation drowned out. Degas washed into reality. Sweeping across the bridge, coming back into town, comes the man in the electric wheelchair. Speed unprecedented, dressed in a cowboy hat, fobbed waistcoat, and dangerously pointed leather boots. Has his speaker on full blast. Shoppers part like the proverbial Red Sea, unthwarting his urgent mission. On the pavement tables of the Cap Horn is a group of young men, all sat in tight black jeans, white, clean shirts and good shoes, billowing vaped smoke between claps of guffaws. The company logo is written on the small car parked just outside, on the side of the road. They act as one, like a beetle caught upside down, gesticulating. Then a young woman sits down at a small table, reaches down for her iPad. Botox lips overwhelm the symmetry of her face, like a distorted fish in a bowl. Her tarsals squeezed tight into red stilettos. A skin-tight Venus, beauty enhanced and paid for, requiring intervals of reinflation and adjustments. We leave our table stiff with gazing, time well spent, in time measured.
So, that was Idling in Laval from Katherine Brownlie. Thank you very much. You will find a link to this YouTube video in the description below as soon as this stream will be available. Next in line we have Igor Pop Trajkov from Macedonia, who will read 2 poems of his, and with the first one in both English and Macedonian. So here we go with Igor Pop Trajkov.
My name is Igor Pop Trajkov. For poetry reading online number 1, I will read my poem Forever Young, first on my native Macedonian, and then I will read its versification and translation on English. This was the idea and suggestion by our editor and moderator Chester Lacey. za sekogаш slobodен. Бранот студен ме занесе, како на страната на стремењето да сакаше да ме пренесе. Пливав по таа вода студена, околу мене само темнина, но и оциот над звездите и сите маглини созданија вселенски се во густината на мастилавата гама на ноќта, леплива и нежна. Од другата страна сакав да се пренесам, од војната илјада годишна да се изнесам и внесам во она во кое заливот е заштитен со звоно кристално, небесно отсејно на нашето постоење пред сите постоења заштита на самиот Бог ни свита. Заливот тука крај нас во пристаништето на нашите пристигања, како и на соборците ни рицарски доаѓањата, не чекаше наивното младенче пијано за славието ни световно. Будењето бездетно, постоењето јалово, дим валкан создадоа и постоењето на заливот го зацкрија, наместо херои маршојатци привлекоа. Но еве ме се воврев во водите спасоносни, дур никој од гардата маршојадна не ме гледа и запливав кон страната на безизмамата. Студената вода на моите рамена, на добро лошата игра размена, се лизга и по челото и слепоочниците ми втренчени, бегајќи од бездната над пцости и днината. Косите ми се мешаат со густината чисто изворска во наполнетоста кладенска, за да пристигнем на другата страна и верувам дека таму ќе сум за секогаш, зашто не робувам. Forever free. The cold wave carried me away as if on the aspiration side wanted to transfer me. I swam in that cold water, only darkness around me, but also the reflections of the stars, and all nebulous and space creatures are in the density of the inky gamut of the night, sticky and tender. On the other side, I wanted to be conveyed from the millennial war to exit and enter into that in which the bay is protected by a bell of crystal, celestial reflection of our being before all beings, protection of our dear God sweet. The bay here aside us, in the harbor of our arrivals, as well of our comrades' nightly comings, was waiting for us naively, that drunken baby, for our secular feasting. The childless awakening, the barren existence, dirty smoke created, and the existence of the bay hid, instead heroes, vultures were attracted. But here I am, immersed in the waters of salvation, while no one from the vulture guard was watching me, and I swam to the side of no deception. The cold water on my shoulders of the good bed exchange game slips on my forehead, on my temples now stiffed, escaping from the abyss from the swearing future. My hair is mixed with the density of the clear spring in the filling of the well, so that I can arrive on the other side, and I believe that I will be there forever because I am not slave. Thank you.
Tender Stipe, dedicated to the movie with Katharine Hepburn, Sea of Grass, or, as it is locally translated, The Scene of One Night. Nobody ever noticed from what that green sea consists from, since everyone just at the sea was looking at, as nobody was wondering how come so lively that mess was becoming with the inflow of windiness, spacey towards the greenest skin deeply. Those weren't needles rising up themselves to the sky and submissing, nor spikes greening, stabbing, with their structure twisting towards the externality in submissing, and precisely from that externality shaking and dashingly waving as those oceans so mesmerizing. Kind of feeling anybody had that the subtleness of our nest, not of the breeze from which were shaken, this plant in green was by them outspoken, as the hair of man upstretched when he is in shock or swollen, when with tender tusk accordingly, with locks springly sensually loose, or strictnesses, puts and wild satrapies, when the love commitment imbues them, and most of all resurrects. Because each of the plants has fragile posture, not wanting to be spike-spiled with iron posture before the windy wave, thus to have interactions with the advent of life and accomplished imaginations.
So that was the two poems from Igor Pop Trajkov. Thank you very much. It's really beautiful to hear poetry in other languages that you don't know. So, I mean, I don't know Macedonian, but it was a real pleasure to hear it in its original version. Thank you very much. Now we have two poems coming from Daria and her friend in Romania. First, a poem from Bukowski, Eat Your Heart Out, and then we have a translation from a Romanian poem which translates into In Vain in a Train Station from Adrian Paunescu. I hope I said it well, and let's go.
I've come by to tell you that this is it. I'm not kidding. I've come by to tell you that this is it. I'm not kidding. It's over. I sit on the couch watching her arrange her long red hair before my bedroom mirror. She pulls her hair up and piles it on top of her head. She lets her eyes look at my eyes. And she drops her hair and lets it fall down in front of her face. We go to bed and I hold her speechlessly from the back, my arm around her neck. I touch her wrists and hands, feel up to her elbows, no further. She gets up. This is it, she says. This will do. Well, I'm going. I get up and walk her to the door. Just as she leaves, she says, I want you to buy me some high-heeled shoes with tall, thin spikes. Black high-heeled shoes. No, I want them red. I watch her.
Looks like we had a little technical problem here, so I will try it once more. I'm really sorry about that. Let me just find it again. Let's try it once more.
I've come by to tell you that this is it.
So it seems like it doesn't work really well either. I'm guessing it comes from the media type, since those are the only that are in MOV. So it seems like MOV doesn't work that well. I will keep this in mind for the next poetry reading. Once again, Daria and her friend, I'm awfully sorry it didn't work out well. Hopefully I will manage to do something about it in the post-production. Anyway, thank you very much for your submission, and sorry that it didn't play to the end. Next is a poem of mine that is entitled The Garden Door, which is a translation from a poem I wrote originally in French, but tonight I'm going to read it in English for you. So, The Garden Door. Impregnable bastion is the garden door. The word stops there and rarely gets in. A window, a tower maybe, over the deserted street, or full of the cortege of ankles and other moving articulations, smiles hidden under invisible masks. "Who's there?" asked a voice, warden of the gate, grey against the green. Private property, new magic words of discounted emperors with their outhouses, shacks of iron, of wood, what an exploit. Modernity of the rain walling in between four planks under a mound of sheets and drapes and flourish hidden to all, jealously kept. We became dragons because kings could do nothing against them. Always aim at the highest. What ugly worm could today pass through the garden door? Mesh replaced stained glass in this contemporary church where lucre is worshipped. Every item is made a temporary relic of this imaginary kingdom. Crystal light bulb, crystal telephone, crystal glass, and card castle. With the first breath, crumbles, breaks, scatters, so we hold our breath. Stupid figures, cheeks inflated with pride, sweet sin, to which we so used. Roommate of our loneliness, regent of habit, partner of the city, of the street, of this life which disappointed us and which bit by bit kills us, which we perpetuate abundantly, foolishly, treason. Hidden behind the garden door is the eternal end we're holding back. She will not pass. Nights from the television of a faded past, of a better future, without mash, grayness, where everything will be one big grain place for me alone, alone. That's all that matters. Barricade the door. Don't let anyone in. Who am I talking to? I don't know. Stop them. Who? Them? No, there's only me. Nobody comes. Not even the wind. Not even the rain. Not even the sun. Not even the night. That's all that exists. All that fights these fights. It would only take a few steps. Take the step somewhere. So, that was The Garden Door. I hope you enjoyed it. Coming up next, we have Carla from France, who is going to read a poem from Walt Whitman. So, hopefully this will work.
Hello, hi everyone. My name is Carla and I'm really glad to be here with you all today. So thank you very much, Esther, for letting me be part of this beautiful poetry project. I chose a poem from Walt Whitman, who to a lot of people revolutionized American poetry, and the poem I chose to read you today is To Think of Time. I really like the notion of time in it, and I think that it's a really beautiful and interesting poem. So I really hope that you'll enjoy it, and I will only be reading the first part. To think of time. To think of time, of all that retrospection. To think of today, and the ages continued henceforward. Have you guessed you yourself would not continue? Have you dreaded these earth beetles? Have you feared the future would be nothing to you? Is today nothing? Is the beginningless past nothing? If the future is nothing, they are just as surely nothing. To think that the sun rose in the east, that men and women were flexible, real, alive, that everything was alive. To think that you and I did not see, feel, think, nor bear our part. To think that we are now here and bear our part. Thank you very much.
So that was a beautiful interpretation from To Think of Time from Walt Whitman, saying thank you, Carla. And coming up next, we have Jonathan Sage, who is going to read 2 of his poems.
Okay, well, hi. My name's Jonathan. Nice to meet all you guys. I got a few poems to share with you guys. So I saw this thing on Facebook, like most of you guys did, and I decided I'd like to contribute. But I realized, looking in my new things, most of it is in French and then Spanish, and I could have shared it, I guess, but I wanted to touch as many people here, and that way I decided to choose English. So I had to delve a few years ago into what I was writing when I was writing more in English, and I found these 2 poems that I decided on. So yeah, it's in the spirit of the beats, and apart from that, it also kind of touches or alludes a bit to the whole daily lives of today, you know, with COVID and everyone kind of in their little bubbles. So a bit of spirit, a bit of fire, and a bit of beat spirit for you guys today. So I got 2 poems, and I'll just start off with the first one. Okay. The warming soil thaws the ice from our lungs, and the breeze becomes but a gentle flutter, as now, unshackled chains and melted bars in sight, we, the unwinged birds, make our way, escape from cells of ice. Frost-bitten limbs are renewed, bandaged and cleansed by the forge of the sun. Now, pagans round many a fire, dancing and chanting to creation. Heathens rowdy and gay, spring liquor and ale flowing, toasting, cheering to another day. Rejoice, rejoice, as ye plant ye harvest, friends. Cover your poets of paint, of drink, and of banquet bliss. Place ye incense atop the altar of Dionysus. Praise this day as first and last. Spring has arrived, trumpeter announcing beginning and end. Okay, so I'm just going to jump to the second one. What flowers breathe in air forlorn, and drench damp in days, where suns hang in golden rays? What petal is not a thorn, when all men wear on hearts frigid plate? What petal soars to suns of cosmic grace, when in winds words of daggered treachery permeates the atoms with breathe? What flower roots can find soil of life, when hate and rue impregnate we all that is below our feet? And I, captive light in dominion of darkness, where suns of coal beseech their dew, shallow aches of groaning men, where tides never unrise to days, into seas that are no eyes left to see, the soul oasis round our traced figures, lacking substance, are mirrors of illuminated dreams. The question rises, are they truth or lies? Yet what ray of light, beam of sun or gleam of moon can be untrue, when shadowed clouds hold hastily any apple hanging on tree, with roots and earth and leaves and fabled legends? In times when the whole world weeps and cries at agony as never they cease, Who is one to hold or raise the speech of who is sane, who is mad? What fools who in cataclysm roll in frenzy of righteous zeal and linear blade? This creed I cite in little jest, when all are held to lines, and devil eyes are sent to eyes that twist on bark. Only madness then is unfoolish. Yet hold not to blade no book, but blaze the twigs which stones when scavengers in soul, and with the light of consuming flesh a pyre be, to awaken the frightful souls. Aye, your ash shall be dew for these petals we speak. And that's pretty close to the 420 mark, so I'm just going to stop that there. Cheers, guys.
So that was Jonathan Sage. Thank you very much for your contribution. And next in line we have a poem from Max Siegert from Poland. So it's really great to see that we get poems from like all around the world, from India to Poland to Macedonia, Romania. Thank you very much everyone, and enjoy Max's poem.
Hello friends, my name is Max Siegert and I'm from Warsaw, Poland, and I'm here to read my 5-part poem called Drive Through at 21st Century Avenue. So let's go. Going west, midnight killing, with closed eyes we tremble on the back seats, looking through windows scattered with rain for open restaurant and something salty to eat. Do not touch me, only my mother can touch me there. The wooden cross in my old room said so, and I returned to previous state, liberal, plastic logos, sunshades, in the rain. There was no jazz for ages. Black lakes in the middle of a town are not entering underground bars no more. Red lights, smoke, trumpets, broken parts lying on the ground. No stories in the city. Nihilistic, night is beyond us. Drive further. There is no sense stopping there. And the radio starts to play softly, and that double bass drives me crazy. Staying up late. Reality is an unpopular girl I'd love to kiss and fuck with. The car behind us honks, and I go to sleep at the green light. The girl in the window smiles as I hand her cash from our pockets. Night shift in bloom, and her ring with a red faux gemstone makes her hand even more sad, and I want to console it. Languishing hours, paperbacks and stoves, and 3-second smiles alone with her in the room with a single window of drive-through at 21st Century Avenue. Past the salts, my head is going to explode. Is this what I ordered? Gasoline money spent on cheap French fries, Coke and burgers. Where is Neil Cassidy when we really need him? My friend behind the wheel takes a sip of water from green glass bottle. Speed limit is killing me. And if I could see his eyes, they would be in pain, closed in the car box, shattered by slow passing stripes on the black slippery road dotted with puddles. She licks her fingertips without any emotion, the wheel and eyeballs turning on. She, hard to control, all confuses me as her hands land on front car seat bolster. We scream, with faces leaned forward. Moment of silence. She backs up, angry, small talk. It was a harsh braking. Drivers close eyelids, and it is fair time to stop somewhere inside. It's what I ordered. A hotel room. Homeless man passing by. Our friend fall asleep behind the windshield. Let's stay out of town in the suburbs, where his sour heart and brain will drink some more and go to bed. We go on, even slower, sometimes yawning. We, lips not reaching each other. It's here, he says, groggy, after half an hour and a month, fries on the car rack and coke spilled. Bare white feet on these grains, car power, lost in the air. Summer will hit me. One bloody cherry punch, cool, will break my head like it broke my glasses and run away. She's taking a shower in the bathroom conjoined with our small hotel chamber. Except this, there is nothing left of poetry. square carpet, 2 wooden beds, 1 sick without driving man and not working TV set. Single light bulb above my scalp and closed doors. Silence instilled with sounds of thousands of individual water drops on the floor, on her shoulders and her breast. Head shake. Behind the window are black trees and our live street, and stars and what is next. Doors opening slowly. She comes out, steaming, all around. Nudity clings to her, not like clothes, but like beloved cat. Time stops for me as I stare. Black street, dark trees, live stars. What's next? I slip off the free bed and sit on the ground. She touches the switch and creeps down to her covers. Good night, she says, and except this, there is nothing left of romance. The girl from the drive-thru at 21st Century Avenue comes back to her home, probably. Bare walls, no cross. I'm lying on the floor on the square carpet with 2 beds and broken TV set and him and her. That's what is next. That's what I ordered. Time stop. And madness starts to heal in the fumes of that steam. It was all hard, cold and ultra sweet. There will always be and always were picture postcards just like this. I lost consciousness and time goes everywhere again. The next morning, we headed north to watch polar lights. Thank you very much. Hello friends, my name is Max Siegert and I'm from Warsaw, Poland, and I'm here to read my
So that was the
poem
contribution
called
from
Drive-Thru at 21st
Max. Thank you very much, and thanks to Mr. Cat for coming and doing a little appearance. This event is drawing to an end. We have one last contribution who came last minute. I received the email tonight, about 3 hours ago. And those are 2 poems that are going to be read by Pierre from France, probably, maybe Switzerland or any French-speaking country. Well, at the least I can say it's not from Canada because he has not the Canadian accent. So enjoy, he's going to present them himself.
À Lady Gaga par Raphaël, Zachary de Izarra. Lady Gaga, les rythmes diaboliques de ton luth de feu font dégueuler de bonheur pourri les dupons américanisés que tu veux enflammer de tes vers sépulcraux. Lady Gaga, ton vagin corrompu où niche la vermine putride et le rêve inaccessible des gogos, larves humaines hypnotisées par tes regards de cadavres dansants. Ta musique est douce aux oreilles des initiés de l'ordure, elle suinte l'exquise perdition, brille comme la démoniaque bêtise, résonne dans l'air toxique qui t'entoure, lugubre et assourdissante tels les reins de la damnation, rappelant les cloches de l'enfer, tes petites chéries vibrantes logées au fond de ton utérus. Belle fille du caniveau, Lady Gaga, admirable ogresse linéale parée de tranches de viande, macabée à la bouche de dégénéré par où sort le parfum d'un scandale formaté, tu es une morte affamée de mort, une jolie chamelle recousue, assoiffée d'urine des bas-fonds cosmiques attirant à tes orifices les vers de tout calibre. Adorable mythe cornu, Lady Gaga, réjouis-toi car tu es la grande profanatrice des consciences pubères, la violeuse d'âme blanche, la saigneuse d'anneaux et la reine de toutes les putains de la terre. Contre ta face rayonnante de coche stellaire qui fait bander le fumier, d'impératrice de la connerie, de pharaon de la vacuité mortadellement érigée en culte charcutier à travers piercings, tatouages et ramollissements cérébraux, j'applique l'or vif, tranchant et douloureux, mais rédempteur, de l'isarification. Pauvre fille, que mon sceptre purificateur, perçante et sombre profondeur, te donne des ailes et t'élève, que mon verbe lumineux allège tes viscères surchargés d'obscurité, que ma plume subite te fasse abandonner tes sinistres semelles de mort qui te font marcher dans la merde. Sortie de Été par Raphaël, Zachary de Izarra. Et maintenant, Pandémonium par Romain Guérin, issu de La chorale des cadavres. Les banlieues ne sont que des lopins de glaire crachés par les murs d'or du Paris éternel, des étrons de béton grouillant d'allocataires, chance pour l'anti-France en mal de criminels. Forêt noire gâtée qui soutient la cerise, dévorée par l'aigle impérial des fauconniers, qui pille notre nid et qui nous terrorise, nous sommes du bétail pour ces infects pionniers. Quelques îlots flottant sur une mer honnie, comme autant de fragments de tous les continents, sont les notes de l'injouable mélodie du coryphée castré du songe matinant. La gamine de fer de la ville lumière, pétrie dans le bourbier de l'ombre de Babel, s'émiette la nation formant la poudrière des longs canons sans yeux de la faim et du gel. Extrait de La chorale des cadavres de Romain Guérin.
Alright, so another video with a cat in the background, for those who saw it. That was Pierre Coupon from France, from what I can read here in the comment section. So that was the last one for today. Once again, I would like to thank everyone who took part in this first poetry reading. It was a pleasure for me to have all this beautiful poem to share. Once again, I'm really sorry for the technical problem who occurred for two of them. Next time is going to be better. I'm also investigating, as I said at the beginning, so that we can have really live reading from people. So yes, I guess this is it. Thank you for watching. Thank you for sending out your poetry, and I'll see you soon.